I probably shouldn't be doing the live streaming yet. My technology sucks. I'm bad at this thing. I think I recorded a 10-minute video and then went to go check my video thing and the microphone wasn't working and sound wasn't going on. So um, just to do a quick recap, we went over Hydrite. It's up in the $3 range now. It's been I don't know what this little thing right here was. I think it opened up here for some strange reason and then just immediately came down. This might have just been a an outlier buy where somebody accidentally bought up here or sold up here, and then all of a sudden the next buy was down here. So who knows what's going on with that? But Hydrite's looking really good. All the indicators for me are on the upswing. It crossed this I think this was the buy point for me, and then this would be the last video I made. Um, I forget which one it was, but I think I made another video around the 280s. But uh, yeah, right around this point, the five's going over the 50, sorry, the 20. Both of them are on their way to 20 is about to cross the 100. This guy crossed it before. We're just kind of in an upswing right here. It's hard to use technical indicators with penny stocks because we just don't know what's going to happen with them. Volume's a little wild with them, but um, they have earnings coming up on the 1st, which I think is Friday next week, and that'll be interesting. I think the street expects them to do like 50 to 60 million in revenue, but they are projecting to do 150 million for the year. The street's projecting that for the year. Uh, I don't know why. I don't know why things are the way they are, but I did sell some stock. I sold ONs. Uh, not a huge profit, but I had a lot of small positions that I decided to get out of. I was in ONs. I sold them. I think my price point was 7. I think they're a good company and they got a bright future, but um, if war is not going to be a big thing, it's going to take these guys time to grow into their valuation, and the only way their stock price is going to keep skyrocketing is if there's more big deals and rapid price to earnings improvement. Um, I got out of Whirlpool. This is the kind of thing where it was a value play. I bought it in the 50s right here, and it may recover, but they may also get rid of their dividend. I don't know. This could be a long-term play, but again, I'd rather be in other stocks, which I'll explain a little bit later. Sold VG. It's about 100% profit. I sold them around the 13s. I got in about 6. Should have probably sold up here, but I was planning on having it be a long-term play. But um, again, I don't know how much further they'll go down. And again, I'd rather be in other stuff. Sold out of UUUU. This is another one where I think we sold out around 22. Um, most of these sales were in the last few days, but I think my price point was 9 or 10. This is basically I had small positions of a couple hundred shares that I got into a lot of these places low, and I've been watching them go up, watching them go down, watching them go up, watching them go down, selling calls, trying to make it work, and I just realized, you know what? Some of these things are overvalued. Some of them don't have income or profit. I'll just take. And here's the thing with UUUU. This isn't a company like Nvidia. These guys are very dependent on certain factors, and they're even when I compare it to Zeta, which has been struggling of late. Zeta's, I think, a much better company, cheaper price point, and growing, great revenue growth, just became profitable. I like these guys, but I have a cash position now, and I did transition into some other things. I am trying to get into DLO, but I have a cash secured put on them because I like to try to get a lower price point. But if things go up for the next few days, sorry, weeks or months, these expire in May, so I'll probably just keep rolling those to try and get premium until we get a good price point because they've been consolidating and steady for a while. But I hope I don't miss it because they're a great company. But I did get into when I compare the stocks I sold, something like Poet, I'm not going to sell at a Poet. I'm 100% sure they're going to crash down again. But I just don't want to trade them. Navitas, same thing. these guys are Poets have partnered with Marvell, which is another stock that where'd Marvell go? There you are. Marvell's one that I was in for forever. It didn't do anything, and then I sold it, and they jumped up in earnings. So they got the Google deal, and they're off to the races now. So I missed that one. Should have stayed in it. But Poet's a partner of Marvell. They deal with connections. Sorry, Poet deals with data transfer and photonics, which is a lot better than copper, transmitting information through copper and wires. So that's part of the data bottleneck, and Poet, among other companies, should do well. This is their make it or break it year. Same thing with Navitas. Uh, let's look at Poet. Oh, we already looked at Poet, but that's what I'm saying is I got into a lot of companies like ONS or Poet or the other things, and I got out of some of them because I don't think that long term they're going to do as well, or they've already made their money. But this and Navitas is an example or two that I'm not going to sell out of. I did sell, I think I've got like sell covered calls on 20% of my position, long-term ones like for Navitas for the end of the year, basically for $36. And I got a premium that almost matches my initial investment for those shares. So it's basically like having a zero cost basis if this doesn't sell. But Navitas does things like their components will basically decrease heat creation by 80% and decrease power consumption by 75% for NVIDIA chips and who knows what else. And that's going to be exceptionally important down the road. So I'd like to be in stocks like that. The only ones I was able to get into recently, I haven't done this recently, but I did get into SLNH in the 80s, and these guys have actually, ironically, after their little bump, they're starting to go down again. I think I literally got into these guys at the 80 cents right around here. So I actually doubled my position in some cases, and you know, I don't know. Well, let's go over SLNH. Soluna. So they just got approval to begin energizing Project Katy 1, which is 83 megawatts in Texas. They're trying to get up to 1 gigawatt of power, and they hold more cash than debt. They're expected to grow revenue by 53% this year. I'm not saying they're going to get up to $100 or $10 this year, or even grow much at all. But with earnings next week, I think they're going to get a new price floor with all the investment into data centers and AI. So that's why I'm holding these guys. The new acquisitions, I think I went over these guys before, but we're going to look at Keel. I mean, I got into Data Vault, I got into Healwell, but we're going to look at Keel and Hive. So what I like about Keel is, and here's the thing. 2 weeks ago was a really rough week for me. I wasn't be able to pay attention to a lot of this stuff. But if I had been paying attention with Keel and looking at my indicator stuff, I wouldn't have bought it down here because I wouldn't have known. This would have been a potential price entry. I would have to watch it during the day, and the fact that it closed above the 5 and the 20 on the same day, that would have been a good indicator for me. But this right here with the 5 crossing and almost reaching the 100, this would have been a good entry point. I didn't get into it. I got into it like right around here. And I've been watching these guys for a while, and the reason I got in here is I missed where I should have gotten in. But these are actually a very good company. They have a multi-billion-dollar government-backed contract for infrastructure. This kind of de-risks them as a company. They are The reason I like IREN is not because they're a data center company, but because they have a lot of power available. Most of these data center companies, hyperscalers, their bottleneck is they can buy as many chips as they want. What they don't have is access to power and infrastructure. IREN has that power, and they've got the basics basic setup for data centers, um, and they have the power. They just have to do a kind of a retooling, which is why they got the stuff from Microsoft, the bits from them. And I think IREN's going to be the next one to move. But Keel, IREN has 4.5 to 5 gigawatts of power available. Keel has 2.2 gigawatts available. And if we look at a company like IREN, these guys used to be in the low single digits. Applied Digital used to be in the low single digits. Cipher, Wolf, all these companies used to be in the low single digits. Nebius hasn't been there for a while, but they're also a much, much different company and a lot better in a lot of ways. But strictly from a data center situation, Keel is positioned to basically be similar to IREN. And again, like there's a lot of excitement. They've had a lot of bumps, but going into earnings next week, this is a company that could definitely go up a little bit. I bought a nice flat 1,000 shares. If they go up to 5, 6, 7, I'll probably sell covered calls on half of them, and I'll either do that long term and try to get like a $15 price point for the end of the year, or just sell a short term covered call at 7, hoping for a pullback. And either I'll get good premium and then end up selling it, or I'll get good premium and then it'll retrace. But these guys have a bright future if the AI future is bright. The next stock I was looking at was Hive. And again, these are companies I've followed for a while after their pump. I didn't buy them, but on their way down, I think I bought Hive. My average price point is like 250. So I might have got into it right here, which wasn't wise, because what you want to do is get into a stock when there's a turnaround. And even if I got into it like right in this area, all the indicators are going down. All the indicators are going down, just sideline, sideline. This should have been the right time because then it's not dead money. I would say if I was buying this guy, this would have been a good entry space right here. Just sideways price action, closing above, but the indicators are turning around. Yeah, like this point right here, this point right here. But I didn't. I got into it before. My average price point was about 250, so I'm about even on it. They are trending down, kind of like Soluna, but still above everything that I like it to be above. But this is definitely a point of resistance for them. But I think next week all of these things are going to get a bump. And even if they don't, like Hive they have 115 million of free money. It's basically 0% senior notes. It's just a loan. I don't even know how they get this money. It's just a loan that it's a loan that they just get all this money and then they're just going to pay it back at 0% interest. It makes no sense. But they have this loan to buy NVIDIA Blackwell GPUs. So that's their thing for me, is they actually are getting the chips. They're building. They're targeting annual recurring revenue of 225 million by the end of this year. They're very fundamental and a lot less speculative because they have this stuff on the horizon. Do I have what's Hive at? Yeah. Well, the revenue that they say they should be getting is less than what their trailing 12 months is. So that might be incorrect. But I guess the price point is the same. I guess this doesn't update, or this is weird. Maybe this is the new. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but if there's stuff that they're working on goes through, they are going to be very profitable, and going to be able to build out a lot of infrastructure with that free money they're getting. So this is ideally for me. This is like I didn't miss the boat on IREN, but I got into these guys at like the $10, $12 range. Same thing with Applied Digital. Um, and I'm sitting in Wolf and Cipher. I don't know if I have Cipher actually, but I really want to be in the data centers, and I want to be in the smaller ones that have a very bright future and very good potential catalysts. Soluna and Keel both have a lot of power. Same thing with Mara. Where's Mara? Not right. Put it up here in my forever thing. Is it down here? Oh, it's right here. I don't know why it's in this one. But yeah, Mara has a lot of power that they can utilize. And that's kind of what I'm looking at. Energy is very hot. Data and AI is very hot. Bitcoin and crypto are very hot. So companies that have any type of Bitcoin on their books, companies that have access to power and infrastructure, so they don't have to build and get permits to do all this stuff, and companies that have approval to build or are already building data centers to contract out to various companies in different manners are very attractive to me. And then anything in the area. There's a whole bunch of companies that are related to the space that are just absolutely going up, like Clack. You know, a lot of these. I'd like to develop a cadence position, but the truth is there's too many companies to buy. I cannot afford to buy every company. I I was trying to get into Qualcomm, but again, during this period a few like 2 weeks ago, I wasn't paying attention and I missed the entry point for them. Um, this right here was a little bit of a thing for me, but then this right here, this little candle, strong candle going up, passing the 5, passing the 20, right as, and you can see like if that momentum continues, it's going to cross and keep going up. This would have been a perfect entry point. I ended up getting in at like 148, like exactly what the price is right now. I got 100 shares. I could have saved myself 2 grand. But when I look at the long-term chart and I look what's happening with Intel, AMD, um, again, I missed out on AMD. I missed out on a couple things because I don't have the money to get into everything, and some of those companies just have run. Qualcomm has not run. If we go back a year ago, it's actually down. It's down like 1% from about a year ago. So we've chopped around, gone up, gone down, gone up, gone really down. This was the area right here to buy. But I think again with earnings coming up, if we have spectacular earnings for all these companies and we have demand for everything, everything's going up. And these are this is the one guy that hasn't run yet in that space for chips. And oh man, I'm blanking. I'm tired. Is for the GPUs or not the GPUs or CPUs. I forget which one it is. I have like spreadsheets and all these things I've gotten out that I'll watch, read, and update, and then once I'd make a decision, I just kind of promptly forget why I bought it. But yeah, um, but going back to Hive, Keel, and the new things, Hive actually has a deal with Anthropic. They have a confirmed AI partnership with them. These guys are a $600 million company. They uh, have zero cost of capital, confirmed partnerships, and a lot of institutional backing already. Very low cost, 1,000 shares of these guys. I'm not going to go all in on any of these things, even though, going out, if you went all in on almost anything, you go all in on Google at this, you double your money. Go all in on these guys, you double your money. Like, not Nvidia, but most of these companies, not the ones I'm just going through now, but like Micron, Intel, uh, Meta at the dip, TSMC for before, like most of these things, depending on when you get into them, uh, AVGO. I actually rode these guys up and sold them. I sold them at a nice high, and then I just watched them go down. And you see right here, you see my mark. You see this time a few weeks ago. See how it went past my indicator about where to buy it from, and I missed it. This is why I need to have a little bit more focus. and time for watching these things. But this was the perfect time to buy. I just didn't get into it. So, but the reason I'm getting into these low guys is I actually don't have a ton of money, and if Keel actually grows, Data Vault, um, what was the other one? Hive, Soluna, and in 6 months to a year, if when these guys' projects come to fruition, they start getting their contracts, they start growing, the whole data center thing goes bonkers in those areas. I should be able to cash out a fair amount and transition into more blue chippy things like Amazon. I would love to have more Amazon. Um, this is like my foundational company. Them and Google. All these companies are good, and I'm sure there'll be more things. But Amazon is. I have trouble deciding whether Amazon or Google is the best, but if I had to pick, it's Amazon. Amazon's doing everything. Like if you got rid of all of the Mag 7 stocks, Amazon could almost basically fill the role of all the other stocks combined. Almost. I guess they're not making phones, but they could. I'm sure they could start making phones, but they have no need to because Apple does and Google does. So, but they sure could make a. Sure they could make a phone if those other companies disappeared. Anyway, let's look at a few of the other stocks that I was looking at. I bought like 100 shares of Saidu right around here. A really small position, not because I, I knew they were going to go down. I just wanted to have it in the account to watch it so that as it goes down, I can dollar cost average in. Um, this right here is probably not going to get hit, but if we get back to the 250 range, we got another day or two of this going down. If people transition out of space, I would transition to these guys. I own some Rocket Lab, not a not a large amount, but I own some Rocket Lab, and they're pretty choppy. I don't know if the SpaceX IPO will make these guys skyrocket, or if money will transition into SpaceX and then you know get siphoned out everywhere else. My instinct is that the money from SpaceX is going to go into Rocket Lab because they're actually valued more appropriately. But my space stuff after Rocket Lab is going to be Saidu, SATL. I am in I'm in Planet Labs. I'm in ASTS. So I got a fair amount of space plays, but um, Planet Labs another one. You could have gone all in. I got in at this point right here. Again, that's my indicators. Like, all right, it's breaking out. Trend is going up. Let's just see where it goes, and just rode it all the way up. And they may keep going up. They may crash down a bit. I did sell a call, uh, but and hopefully they go down a little bit more, not because I want to lose money, but because I want my calls to get to a point where I can buy them back for at least 50% profit. Um, I got into SoFi at the dip. I actually sold it up around here because I'm a little worried about banks and credit and whatnot. Even though they're growing and doing well, they're technically overvalued. And they're a bank that's at 40 or 50 forward earnings or current earnings. That's too much for me. But but the two things I'm looking at, Saidu, SATL, these guys have been a little bit more steady, but they did have a nice dip on Friday. If these guys can get down to again, yeah, this consolidation range, they might go down to this is one or this is one right here. So we're looking at the $3. If they get down to the 3, I would probably buy them pretty heavy. Like this is just huge consolidation. I can't believe that they dipped down to here. I should have bought them here, but I don't know. But they also could rebound from right here and skyrocket next week. I don't know. We just don't know how all these things are going to go. But Saidu and SATL, I'm looking at those guys. Very low market cap. TSSI, another one. Really, I wouldn't even get, this isn't consolidation. It's kind of consolidation, but it's just steady upward growth. Very gradual. I bought a little bit of them, but I'm not going to do much till next week after the big earnings on Wednesday. we need to wait and see what happens with the Mag 7, what the outlook for the year looks like on them. That's going to determine a lot of stuff that's happening. And then if things skyrocket and go up, I can sell calls. If they go down, we can buy. If it's choppy, we can just reevaluate. But those are the big things we've been working on. Those are the big things we've been doing. And yeah, we'll see where we're going. God, ugh, Intel, you, ugh. Look at this. This is a 5x in a year. What is that? 400%, 500% gain? 20 to 80, 40 to be 100, 60 would be 300, 80. So 40 is 1, 60 is 2, 80 is 3. I guess it's more 300%, 350%. And who knows, in the next month it may be at 100. But yeah, I'm tired of Micron going up. I bought 5 shares of them. I bought 10 shares. I sold them. I bought them around here. I sold them in like the 220s. I thought I did good, and typically I would be good. And then like I started going up, and so all right, I started making like price points of where to get back to, and it almost got there. But their forward price to earnings is 5. These guys could go up to 2,000 and be fairly valued. It's just sickening. It's just sickening how much these guys have gone up. But I don't know who's next on the list. Intel's really overvalued. Micron is very undervalued. Depends on what these guys report. Qualcomm could explode. I mean, Dell. Look at Dell, for fuck's sake. God. This is what an idiot I am. I bought like 50 calls for 30 bucks down here, and they didn't do anything, and I ended up like cashing out right around here after like 2 weeks. I was just like, my calls were underwater by 50%, and I was just like, oh, they're not recovering. Maybe they're really going to have a problem with their company. And then of course, yeah, I'm sure they're going to go above 30 next week, and I would have made a lot of money. But I make lots of mistakes. Anyway, I could ramble forever and go through all this crap, but nobody can see my beautiful face, so why should I go ahead and do that? I want to be in Hood. I bought 100 shares of these guys, right around here at this breakout. Should have done it a little bit lower, but 100 shares of these guys is a lot of money for me, and I'm sure long term they'll be fine. I'm just tempted to, if they go up more, to sell them, but I'm waiting for another breakout. If crypto and other stuff pump next week and these guys go up to 90 or 100, I might start selling some covered calls long term because they're technically overvalued. But sell it at 120, 130, 3 months out, get a nice little dividend payment, and then if they approach that price or go over it, then extend it 3 months, raise the price, and then that way I can keep them forever. But I got a good price at them. I made good money selling it before, so that's my plan with them. But anyway, guys, I'll let this go for right now, and we'll do some more stuff later.